Madam Secretary, I'm going to dovetail on the chairman's questions with CDBGR. I think, put it in a broader perspective, our thoughts are with the full committee chairman and the sites he is visiting, the people who have suffered. But we recognize that the number and severity of storms and fires and other natural disasters have increased. And we have to be honest with ourselves and recognize that we can't just build the same old infrastructure back at it. We have to build it with resilience and recognize what the long-term needs are. But it's been nearly, a year and a half since Congress has helped communities with long-term disaster funding through CDBGR. So I guess the first question is, what do you see as the current unmet need at this point, and what is probably going to be our annual need as we go forward so we can appropriately plan and budget?
Yeah. So I know that we have sent over to the Congress sort of our DR funds need for the 2023 storms, and I believe that's like $3.2 billion. $3.2 billion is the existing need.
Can you pull your microphone a little
Certainly.
closer?
I'll get a little closer. $3.2 billion is our existing need based on the storms that occurred in 2023. That doesn't include any storms that's occurred so far this year and probably at the tail end of last year.
Okay. Please keep us informed on that. And I appreciate that you referenced homelessness in your opening. You've watched this for some time and currently have a good perch to see how we are doing as it relates to this. But in the communities that seem to be succeeding at least reducing homelessness, or it's not an increase, and particularly unsheltered homelessness, what seems to be working? What programs and ideas?
What I see works is a high level of outcome-based coordination between the housing system, the homeless system, and really the political leadership in towns and counties across the country. And when that seamlessness occurs, when everybody agrees on what their true north is, I think that we do see a fair amount of work occurring. But notwithstanding that intentionality, folks need resources. I mean, people continue to tell me the need for more vouchers, the need for more funds that were given to our continuums of care. So we know the need is great, as evidenced in our point-in-time count report from last December. But with resources and intentionality, we think that that is the way to help Americans.
You talk about coordination, seemingly local, but how is HUD, and are they coordinating with other federal agencies to provide supportive services to maximize our investments in improve homeless intervention outcomes?
Yeah. So we actually kicked off a new pilot with our partners over at HHS to do just that, to match our housing and their services. We call it a housing and services accelerator. And Secretary Becerra and I kicked that off, I want to say, just about a month ago. It is a pilot that's targeted 8 states that have their Medicaid waivers. And the idea is to use some of HHS's funding for not just services that are happening at sites and elsewhere, but also for some of those very modest upfront costs that our most vulnerable families have, whether it is helping to clean up an apartment before they get in there, or something tied to their rental fee. So we're trying to marry our programs and HHS's services dollars to try to make sure we're helping families who are the most vulnerable.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.